My name is Angela Davis, and the racist cop pulled me over for driving a Mercedes in a white neighborhood. Not for speeding, not for running a light, not for any traffic violation. He pulled me over because a black woman in an expensive car didn't match his mental map of who belonged in that part of Atlanta, and he'd decided that needed investigating. I was driving home from Pentagon meetings, wearing civilian clothes after a long flight, slacks, a blouse, simple jewelry. My Army uniform was hanging in the garment bag in the back seat, my briefcase with classified materials locked in the trunk. I bought the Mercedes 3 years ago after making General, a reward to myself for 30 years of service. It was paid off, registered, insured, legal in every way. None of that mattered to Officer Kyle Henderson when he saw me turn onto Peachtree Hills Avenue at 6 p.m. on a Wednesday. His lights came on immediately. No following me for blocks, no observing my driving, just instant activation the moment a black woman in a nice car entered his patrol zone. I pulled over, turned off the engine, put my hands on the wheel exactly as I'd done a dozen times before in my life. The routine that every black person learns for surviving police encounters. Henderson approached fast, hand on his weapon, his posture aggressive before he'd even seen my face. He knocked on my window hard enough to make me jump. I lowered it slowly. "Good evening, officer." License and registration. No greeting, no explanation for the stop, just a command delivered like I was already guilty of something. I reached slowly for my purse, narrating every movement. I'm reaching for my wallet now. It's in my purse on the passenger seat. I handed him my Georgia driver's license and the Mercedes registration. He studied them with his flashlight, even though the sun was still up, his eyes moving between my face and the documents, like he was checking if they were fake. "Angela Davis, this your car?" "Yes, sir." "You got proof of purchase?" Red flag. That's not a standard traffic stop question. The registration shows ownership. I asked if you got proof of purchase. "I bought it 3 years ago. I don't carry the bill of sale." Convenient. He walked back to his patrol car with my documents, made me wait. 5 minutes, then 10. Other cars drove past, slowing to look, some drivers making sympathetic faces, others averting their eyes. Henderson returned, my documents in one hand, his other hand still resting on his weapon. "Step out of the vehicle." "For what purpose?" "I'm conducting a vehicle safety inspection." "Based on what probable cause?" "Based on, I'm a police officer, and I told you to step out. You refusing?" Every instinct screamed danger. This wasn't a traffic stop. This was harassment with a badge. But refusing would escalate, would give him excuse to use force, would put me in even more danger. I opened the door slowly, stepped out, kept my hands visible. Henderson walked around my Mercedes, studying it like he expected to find stolen property tags. He peered through the windows, tried the back doors, locked, then looked at me. "Pop the trunk." "Do you have probable cause for a search?" "I got reasonable suspicion this vehicle is stolen." "Based on what?" "The registration is clean. The VIN matches." "Based on you don't look like someone who can afford a car like this." He said it plainly, openly, with no shame. "Now pop the trunk or I'll get a warrant." "You won't get a warrant because you don't have probable cause." His face flushed red. "You a lawyer?" "Rights." He stepped closer, invading my space. "Let me tell you about rights. I got the right to conduct a safety inspection on any vehicle I deem suspicious. And your vehicle is suspicious. A woman like you in a car like this, in this neighborhood, that don't add up. So either you pop that trunk or I call for backup and we do this the hard way. A woman like you, there it was, the truth beneath the pretense. Not suspicious behavior, not traffic violations, just a black woman driving an expensive car. I'm not consenting to a search. And we got a problem." He pulled out his radio. "Dispatch, I need backup at Peachtree and Maple. Uncooperative driver, refusing a lawful search." "This isn't a lawful search." "You want to tell me about the law?" He moved his hand to his taser. "How about you tell me where you work?" What do you do that you can afford a $70,000 car? It's relevant when I'm investigating possible theft. You have no evidence of theft. I got evidence of someone who don't belong in this car. Now, what do you do for a living? I could have told him then. Could have said I was a general. Could have shown my military ID. Could have ended this immediately. But something stopped me. The same thing that had stopped me in a dozen similar encounters over 30 years. The knowledge that I shouldn't have to be a general to be treated with basic respect. That my rank was irrelevant to whether I deserved dignity. I'm employed by the Department of Defense. Doing what? Cleaning offices? The words landed like a slap. Not because they hurt, but because they revealed everything about his assumptions. A black woman couldn't possibly be DoD leadership, couldn't possibly earn a general's salary, could only be menial labor in his mind. I'm a civil servant. And this car is, what? A gift from a boyfriend? I bought it, with money I earned. Sure you did. He circled the Mercedes again, looking for any excuse. You know what I think? I think this car is stolen, or you're transporting something illegal, or both. And you're stalling because you know the moment I search, I'm finding evidence. 2 more patrol cars pulled up. Henderson's backup. 4 officers total now, all white, all looking at me like I was the problem. Henderson briefed them in low tones, gesturing at me, at the car. I caught fragments. Refuses to consent. Suspicious behavior. Doesn't match the vehicle. One of the new officers approached me. Ma'am, we can do this easy or hard. Open the trunk. I don't consent to a search without a warrant. We don't need a warrant if we have probable cause. You don't have probable cause. You have racial profiling. Henderson's voice rose. You want to play the race card? Fine, but that car is getting searched whether you like it or not. He pulled out a Slim Jim, moved toward my car door. I stepped forward instinctively. You cannot break into my vehicle without a warrant. Back off. Henderson's hand went to his weapon, actually gripped the handle. Back off right now or you're being detained. The other officers moved in, surrounding me, hands on their own weapons. 4 armed men treating me like a threat because I wouldn't let them illegally search my car. That's when a black SUV with government plates pulled up. The door opened and Colonel Marcus Webb stepped out, my aide-de-camp from Fort McPherson, who had been trying to reach me about tomorrow's briefing and tracked my location when I didn't answer. He took one look at the scene, me surrounded by 4 officers, Henderson with his hand on his weapon, my Mercedes about to be broken into, and his expression went from confused to furious in about 2 seconds. What the hell is going on here? Henderson barely glanced at him. Police business. Move along. Police business? Webb pulled out his military ID, held it high. I'm Colonel Marcus Webb, U.S. Army. That's Brigadier General Angela Davis you're pointing weapons at. Stand down, now. The street went silent. Henderson's hand froze on his weapon. The other officers looked at each other, at me, at Webb, trying to process what they just heard. She didn't, Henderson stammered. Didn't what? Didn't tell you she's a general? Why should she have to? Webb approached Henderson directly, and despite being shorter, somehow seemed larger. She's a U.S. citizen being illegally detained. Her rank is irrelevant to your civil rights violation. We had reasonable suspicion. Of what? Driving while black? Because I don't see any traffic violation. I don't see any probable cause. I see a black woman in a nice car being harassed by officers who decided she didn't belong here. One of the other officers found his voice. Sir, we didn't know. You shouldn't have to know. Webb's voice carried down the street. General Davis could be a janitor and you'd still have no right to detain her without cause, threaten her with weapons, and attempt to illegally search her vehicle. Henderson tried to salvage it. Ma'am, if you just identified yourself. I showed you my license and registration. That's all I'm required to provide. My voice was calm, cold, every word precise. Everything else was you fishing for justification for a stop you made based on my race. That's not. I didn't. You told me I don't look like someone who can afford this car. You asked if it was a gift from a boyfriend. You assumed I clean offices at DOD, all within the first 5 minutes. I stepped forward, and all 4 officers actually backed up. You violated my Fourth Amendment rights, committed racial profiling, and were about to commit felony vandalism by breaking into my vehicle. And you did all of it because you saw a black woman and assumed criminal. Webb was already on his phone. Yes, this is Colonel Webb. I need the Provost Marshal, JAG, and Base Public Affairs at Peachtree and Maple immediately. We have a general officer who's been illegally detained at Atlanta PD. Yes, Brigadier General Davis. Yes, I'll hold. Henderson's face had gone from red to ashen. General, if I'd known. If you'd known my rank, you would have acted differently. That's the problem. I looked at each officer in turn. Every black person you pull over deserves the same treatment you would have given me if you'd known I was a general. But you don't believe that. You believe rank deserves respect, but race deserves suspicion. The Provost Marshal arrived within 10 minutes, followed by JAG, followed by a captain from Public Affairs. Then the Atlanta Police Chief, roused from dinner, his expression showing he knew this was about to become national news. The chief approached me first. General Davis, I sincerely apologize. Save it. I gestured to Henderson. Your officer racially profiled me, detained me without cause, threatened me with weapons, and attempted to conduct an illegal search. The apology I want is policy reform, not words. The JAG officer was already reviewing the dash camera footage from Henderson's patrol car. General, this is all recorded. His statement that you don't look like someone who can afford this car, the boyfriend comment, all of it. Good. I want it preserved as evidence. Henderson tried one more time. General, I was just doing my job. Your job is law enforcement, not racial profiling. You stopped me because I'm black in a nice car in a white neighborhood. That's not police work. That's racism with a badge. The investigation moved fast. The dash camera footage showed everything. Henderson pulling me over without cause, his escalating aggression, his racial comments, the illegal search attempt. The audio was devastating. Him saying I didn't look like I could afford my car, asking about boyfriends, assuming I cleaned offices. Atlanta PD tried damage control, suspended Henderson immediately, announced a review of all his traffic stops. But the video had already leaked. Police officer racially profiles Army general was national news within hours. The backlash was immediate and brutal. Civil rights organizations demanded accountability. Veterans groups called it disgraceful. The Army released a statement condemning the illegal detention and profiling of a decorated general officer with 30 years of service. Henderson's personnel file revealed what everyone suspected. 47 traffic stops in the past year, 42 of them involving black or Hispanic drivers, 38 in affluent white neighborhoods, all using the same playbook. Claim the driver doesn't match the vehicle, demand searches, escalate when people assert rights. He was fired within a week, criminally charged with civil rights violations, official misconduct, and attempted illegal search. I testified in my dress uniform, my single star gleaming, my ribbons displaying 30 years, including 3 combat deployments. Described the stop, the profiling, the threats. The prosecutor played the dash camera audio. Henderson's voice, "You don't look like someone who can afford a car like this." Henderson's voice, "A woman like you in a car like this? That don't add up." Henderson's voice, "What do you do? Clean offices?" The courtroom was silent. The jury convicted him on all counts. The judge sentenced him to 3 years in prison plus 5 years probation, citing the egregious abuse of authority and systematic violation of civil rights. But the real justice came from what happened after. Atlanta PD reformed completely. New training on racial profiling. Body cameras, mandatory. Independent review board for all traffic stops. 47 of Henderson's previous stops were investigated. 12 false arrests were found. 8 people had charges dropped. 3 were released from jail. And Georgia passed the Equal Enforcement Act, prohibiting traffic stops based solely on vehicle driver mismatch, and requiring articulable traffic violations for all stops. I kept driving my Mercedes. Same route, same neighborhood. And every time I passed that intersection, I thought about Henderson's face when Colonel Webb announced my rank. The moment assumption met reality, when the woman he'd profiled as a criminal turned out to be a general. My name is Brigadier General Angela Davis. I'm in the United States Army with 30 years of service, and I learned that racist cops make assumptions. Assumptions about who belongs where, who can afford what, who deserves respect based on skin color rather than humanity. Officer Henderson pulled me over because a black woman in a Mercedes didn't fit his worldview. He learned I was a general when my aide-de-camp arrived and identified me. By then, his career was over. His freedom was ending. His racism had finally caught someone with the resources to fight back. All because he couldn't see past my skin color. All because he assumed criminal instead of asking about the traffic violation that never existed. The stop lasted 30 minutes. His career ended in 30 days. His conviction took 4 months. Sometimes the person you racially profile turns out to be a one-star general who ends your career and reforms your entire police department. Henderson's got 3 years to think about that assumption. And every cop in Georgia knows now, badges don't override civil rights. And rank doesn't determine who deserves dignity. Everyone does, regardless of race, regardless of what car they drive. Henderson just learned that lesson the hardest way possible.